Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast. Wonderful moms, wonderful parents. Hope you guys are having an amazing week. Hope you guys caught the eclipse yesterday. I know we caught it here in Illinois. It was actually pretty cool to watch because it had been a long time since I caught an eclipse. As most of you may or may not know, I am a CAT scan tech, so I was trying to look for some x ray film to see if I can catch the eclipse. But all that shit is buried in the garage. So I wasn't about to start looking in boxes and start tearing things up in my garage, considering that, I had just cleaned it up and I'm just not going to do all that. No way. So it was pretty cool to watch. Super excited for summer. Summer is one of my favorite times of the year, especially next to Halloween. So those are like my two favorite times of the year because I am a summer person, considering I grew up in the desert and I am not a fan of winter. I mean, I think spring is pretty cool, fall is pretty cool, but winter, yeah, I'll take a pass. So, in today's episode, I wanted to talk about some of the things that I think we have guilt around, right? So, what I mean by guilt is the mom guilt or the parental guilt, if you know what I mean. So, what I mean by mom guilt is that guilty feeling of when you feel like you're not doing enough. So, we're going to talk about guilt and what it feels like and how to overcome it. Because we know as special needs moms and parents, we feel guilty when we aren't doing enough for our children, when we feel, oh, maybe I should have found more help. Maybe I should have requested that therapy. Maybe I should have worked a little harder so that my child can reach their milestones, they can reach that goal. Maybe I didn't work hard enough to push them a little harder. Like all those things that we feel guilty about what we couldn't do because you see your child regress a little bit. They're not hitting that milestone like you wanted them to, and it's been, 6 to 12 months. Or you feel like you should have pushed them harder because you were a little laxed. And I'm here to tell you, I know exactly how that feels. I feel that mom guilt almost on a daily basis because I take a look at all the goals and especially the report cards and the IEP meetings and things like that, and just how my children operate day in and day out. And I start to ask myself and question myself, well, am I doing enough? Am I really putting my best foot forward? Am I really helping my kids out to achieve the things that they need to achieve just to have basic life skills? Am I doing my best job as a mom to make sure that they are really trying to hit that milestone like I want them to? And I'm here to tell you all those feelings and thoughts are okay. We feel so guilty that it drags us down to, that anxious level where we have so much anxiety, it is ruling our life, or it pulls you down to that depression where you think, oh, well, this is the best I'm going to get. There's nothing I can do. Fucking bullshit. Like, I had a moment yesterday where I felt that I wasn't doing enough work with my kids. I'm going to tell you why I felt that. Okay. It's because there were certain things like 2 weeks ago that really triggered some just old wounds and just that inner child trauma that I've had when I was a child. And it started to resurface a lot of things that happened when I was married to my children's dad, where I was told I was not a good mother, I wasn't doing enough, and I worked too much, and I wasn't being present for the kids, and I'm failing them, and I am not doing the right thing. This is not how you do it. And it really triggered those thoughts in my head about, oh, well, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing this. This is why this is failing. This is why she's not where she needs to be. And I'm a terrible mom. It's because there was a certain situation that triggered those feelings and just wounds. And I started to feel that all over again, where I started to spiral. And I had a fucking crying session in my closet yesterday. And I'll tell you, if you follow me on TikTok, my TikTok handle is at the Rare Mama, where I kind of, make videos about all different kinds of things. I have a series on there on why my life is a mess that I just started a couple of days ago. So you might want to check that out because I do have that crying session and everything that I'm talking about on this podcast on that. And those are just real life struggles that I have, not only as a special needs mom, as a person in general, as a business owner, as somebody who is, out there trying to date with intention because I really want a life partner in just to be, to share my life with somebody. Those are just me as a human being, and it's very therapeutic for me. So make sure you check out the TikTok. It's pretty interesting, and um yeah, I really dive in deep on just the things that why my life is a mess. Okay? So, it's okay to have these feelings. It's okay to have these thoughts, okay? And I'm going to tell you how you overcome them. First of all, breathe. Give yourself some grace and say, "You know what? I understand that I feel this way, and it's okay for me to feel this way. It's okay to feel guilty and know why you feel guilty." Okay? Nobody is saying that your feelings are not valid and you are not heard. Yes, you are. It is perfectly okay to have that guilt. I deal with that guilt every single day to make sure, but I also have to self coach myself and say, "You know what? It's okay. Now I have to figure out why I feel this way so I can process this and then say, okay, well, these are just thoughts. This is not real." Because we all know the difference between a thought and a fact. Fact is something you can argue in court. These are the concrete facts. This is what it is. Like a fact, the sky is blue. We know that because it hasn't changed. Okay. Those are facts. A lot of the times we have a lot of thoughts around a lot of things that either are not true or have never happened, right? So it's okay to feel this way. Like you can feel these feelings and be okay with them. What I think is a very useful tool is if you journal these feelings to find out why you feel this way and ask yourself the questions why? What can I control out of this situation? What is within my control? Is there something that I can change to make the situation better? Or can I find some help in a resource that can help me with this change or to make the situation better? It always helps to journal this out. I'll tell you, I've been doing journaling ever since the process of my divorce started. And because a lot of things came up as a trigger and just it I had to have a way to dump my feelings because I wasn't able to go to somebody to talk about my feelings. Yes, I went to therapy and yes, I talked to a therapist, but I needed a way to channel, my thoughts and get it out so that it wouldn't stay within me and consume me because it just eats you alive, right? So it's always good to journal to figure out why you feel this way and to write out the whole scenario and situation and to write out what is it that I can control? What can I get help with? How can I make the situation better? And then you can also write what you can't control and what's out of your control because we cannot control what is out of our control. All we can do is say, all right, we can manage it. We'll have to accept it. We'll have to deal with it, right? So I hope those are some good tips to when you feel guilty, you have that mom guilt, that parental guilt, it's perfectly okay. We all go through it. Even regular parents have guilt, okay? All of us as parents, we all have guilt, but we can manage it in a way where we don't let our thoughts rule our mind, because then you spin in that mind drama and stay there, and it drives you absolutely fucking crazy. Like, our life is crazy enough with special needs kids. We don't need our thoughts to make us even crazier, right? So I hope this was helpful for you. So if you have any thoughts, any stories that you would love to share that you want me to share on a future podcast, please send me an email. The email is on the show notes. If you are interested in being a guest on the podcast, there is a link in the show notes to a form that you can fill out, and it will go ahead and populate in my email, and I will get back to you. So I'd love to have guests. So come on the show and let's chat about all the special needs things. Okay. So everything will be listed on the show notes. So if you want to be a guest, want to send an email, more power to you. I love emails and I love to read them. I know I have some emails that I need to get back to on some of the guests that have listened to my podcast. So I will be doing that. Okay. Also, if you're interested in my Why My Life is a Mess story, my series, I think I'm going to make it 10 parts. I'm already on 6. I will drop the link to my TikTok so you can follow me at The Rare Mama and check that series out. So, hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will chat with you next week.